Hello, welcome to Podcast vs Player, Batman v Superman Spoilercast. I'm Carl, and as always, I'm joined by a man who has recently turned himself into a real-life vigilante. Just today, he changed his profile picture on Facebook to a flag and typed "Amen" as a comment to cure AIDS. I believe he's already saved millions. It's only Bloody Dan.
Oh, topical.
It was. On point and to the point.
And satire. Very good.
Well, how are you?
Good, yeah, good. Not bad. All over the colds and stuff, so I should be back on reasonable form.
I have been having problems speaking recently.
And being funny.
Yeah. I actually have, like, yesterday, I couldn't speak to even order a drink. So I think I'm having a slow stroke. That wasn't an innuendo.
It was.
Off topic, we're also joined by my wife, Zoe.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Zoe.
Why are you here?
Because you asked me to.
Oh. So I thought it was going to be to talk about Batman.
Yeah, so much for, like, DJ radio show banter.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you told me to be here.
Fucking hell.
Forced me.
Anyway, before we start, if you haven't seen Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice, you probably should, because this is going to be full of spoilers. Hence the title.
Spoilers all over the place.
Yeah, it's just a big mess of spoilers.
Mm.
Juicy, sticky spoilers.
Sticky, the right word. Juicy usually is a positive thing.
Yeah, to a degree.
Juicy oranges and pears and stuff, they're delicious.
Juicy
hot pants.
Juicy hot pants. Juicy boobies, as Zoe pointed out.
On you, I hope.
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, but we've both seen Dawn of Justice. Surprisingly enough, we actually saw something that we were going to discuss on the same day.
Yeah, for a change.
Yeah, so usually, like with Daredevil, which is going to be an episode in itself, Season 2 for Daredevil, I, of course, finished it within like a day, and then Callum decided to wait like 3 weeks or something.
3 weeks?
It feels like it.
I started on the Friday and I finished on the Monday.
Not good enough.
That was perfectly good.
Not good enough.
Considering with a job and a son and a nagging wife.
God. Oh, I've got a life. Oh, look at me.
I'm sorry to all our fans that I have a life. I'm sorry to the make-believe people I've just brought into the podcast as well.
Yeah. But yeah, we're doing a separate one for that, where we're just sort of talking about everything that we've talked about in Daredevil. Mm-hmm. What was it? What did we call it? It was just a Daredevil special or something?
The Daredevil Season 2 discussion.
Yeah, something like that. But we did one for Season 1, so we're definitely going to be doing one for Season 2. But because we both saw Batman yesterday, because it's relevant, and we can put loads of really cool clickbait titles on there, we just thought we'd get this one out the way first. Then we can go back and do Daredevil, so you can stay tuned for Daredevil Season 2.
Not everyone will have seen Daredevil all the way through.
Anyone who's going to listen to this fucking nonsense, they will have seen it by now.
More than likely. Anyway, enough about Daredevil. Batman v Superman.
Can we just talk about Daredevil?
No, we're talking about Batman.
Oh, come on, really?
We're nearly 4 minutes in. It's too late to turn back now, Dan.
Okay, fine. Yeah, okay.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I really don't know how to start this.
I do.
Go on.
I do not agree with the critics.
That's a good starting point.
If you aren't going to see Batman, or you haven't gone to see Batman v Superman because of what the critics have said, ignore them. They're fucking retards. It wasn't shit. It was far from shit. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't really great, but it was entertaining. And a lot of the points that the critics, like IGN, and a ridiculous guy who we was talking about earlier, who said that Batman and Robin was better than Batman v Superman, and George Clooney was better than Ben Affleck. He gets paid to write this shit.
True, but it's that kind.
Moron.
It's saying that kind of stuff though that it creates conflict, which means people will go on and rage at them. So it just attracts more views. It's like Katie Hopkins, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but it's what's the point? I'm not saying critics should write positive things about bad things, because that's just silly. But if they're literally writing reviews and doing articles on especially something like a film of this scale, and that could jeopardise future instalments because maybe Warner Brothers say, well, you know what, nobody liked the last one, so we're not going to give you as much money, or we're not going to fund it anymore. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Just because they want more views. That's fucking stupid.
It's the way that the internet works at the moment, though. You know, a film can be made or lost simply on word of mouth and the internet on its, its opening day. You know, people will go in because they go in with the expectation that it's going to be bad. They'll come out and just say, well, this guy told me it was bad, and I therefore think it's bad, and I'll tell everyone I think it's bad, and then just regurgitate the opinions that someone else has been putting up on the internet to get people to read his stuff because they hate it. So I would have to agree in the sense that I do not think that 37% out of 100 is a valid score to give the film.
Well, if you go on to Metacritic, I'm not saying go on now, but it's got a critic rating of, as you say, 37, and I think it's dropped to 36 today, out of 100. User rating is 7.5 out of 10.
See, I'd say a 7.5. Personally, I'd say about a 6 or 7. I mean, I know it's going in early for a sort of a final score verdict, but I'd say a 6 or 7 is probably about right. But I was expecting it to be a lot worse than it was.
I think if you broke it down into like sections, like if the whole story base, I think 7's quite generous.
Absolutely, yeah.
Ben Affleck,
yeah,
fucking 9 out of 10, maybe 9.5.
10.
10. Because, considering how much grief he was getting about how he was going to become the next Batman and how shit he was going to be and all this, I think he smashed it.
Considering most of that criticism was coming from us.
I don't know, because pretty early on, we were backing Affleck. Quite early on. It was mostly the likes of Gal Gadot got most of our backlash.
No, it was the main reason, because I've actually gone back and listened to as many sort of old podcasts and trailer breakdowns and stuff that I could find over just talking about Man of Steel 2, as it was, there wasn't a name for it. Basically whenever we brought it up, it was just more bad news. Now Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, and now they're going to put Cyborg and Flash and stuff into it, and it's just like, oh, what are they doing? And then we saw the trailers, and we were just like, they might be able to pull this off, and they've skin of the teeth maybe, but they have not done what they needed to do.
I don't think
which
they
is
could
rival Marvel.
But and that's another point that critics are saying, that it's not as fun as the Avengers.
It's never going to be.
It's not. It doesn't need. It shouldn't be. I don't want Batman spurting off lines that Tony Stark can say.
Yeah.
The different characters. Batman's not funny. Superman's not funny. Sorry.
He should have had his own film to begin with before this.
Yeah.
Because it was just purely a Batman film with Superman just thrown in to fill the gaps, and it just didn't work in the slightest.
I mean, I do want to kind of touch on the sort of the stuff that we thought they should do and what we would like them to do, like from some of the older podcasts. We'll do that later though. But overall, as an overall film, I wasn't overly impressed. It wasn't like when I saw the Avengers and I was just like, holy shit, this is amazing. But it's because they haven't done what Marvel did. That's kind of where they're trying to play catch up, and they've jumped over 4 hurdles, and instead of just landing perfectly, they've just gone face down in the mud.
See, I don't know, because the Avengers built up from Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and it's built into the Avengers. They've gone Man of Steel, Dawn of Justice.
Exactly.
And they should have done, maybe not anyone else, just done Batman first. Slowly incorporated bits and pieces from Man of Steel. Basically just done this film, but without Doomsday and Wonder Woman and stuff.
Yeah, I think you could have called that pretty much straight away though.
Yeah.
Like, you could have just said, if you just want to have them together to build up a relationship for them to then have a Justice League film, fine. But then you've still got to explain why everyone is there, who they all are, why they are all different from everyone else that you know. And you've got to do that whilst have them all fighting each other, then teaming up, and then fighting something else. And there was just too much going on. That film needed to be about 5 hours in order to explain
that's
things
what
properly.
I mean, though. If they'd have just done it Batman and Superman, they have a fight, they have a conflict, for whatever reason is, they team up, and then they decide, because, I don't know, they get not a tip-off, but they get an inkling that something big is coming, and they're going to need more help. But throughout the film, throw in little bits of Wonder Woman.
Hate to say it, but I think Batman did need his own origin story, purely
No.
based on the fact...
Get out.
He did, but based on the fact that he is such a different Batman than one you've previously seen. Like, 20 years on, he's had enough of everything, he just doesn't give a fuck. I think he needed to see why he's got to that point, instead of, oh, you see Batman's parents get killed like you do in every other, and then boom, Superman's introduced, and then boom, you see how he is. There's no real explanation why.
Not an origin, though. Just a recap.
Well, yeah, a rundown then.
Yeah,
so
so
to speak,
maybe
but-
it starts with Robin dying.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice.
That would be
The transition. So it would be Batman and Robin, Batman and Robining, and they're just sort of, dynamic duo, all Adam West and fun and games and stuff. Then Robin gets killed, and then that's what breaks him. And then he's just like, do you know what? I really don't care if you people die anymore. You took Robin from me.
I was on board except for the Adam West bit.
Well,
I don't want to see that shit.
not the sort of like kapows and stuff, but
Just fighting crime together.
yeah. Even in the sort of Batman.
Don't
Batman
say it.
Forever.
Don't
like when
say.
Chris O'Donnell turns up. Like whenever when they start fighting Two-Face and Riddler, and that's when they sort of start working as an actual proper team.
Yeah.
Although the film is still not particularly good, I wanted that, but I wanted like a good Robin. I want actual Robin. Tim Drake Robin, for God's sake, from bloody Arkham Knight. It's amazing.
See, I'll be surprised if Nightwing doesn't turn up in the solo Batman film.
I agree.
At least in some capacity.
I think because from what I'd like to see Batman solo film is Under the Red Hood.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they go, here's Jason Todd, this is why he was in the Batman v Superman film, like the outfit was there, this is what happened to him, this is why he suddenly broke his code and he starts going around killing people. Dick Grayson's Nightwing is recruited at the end of that film to join up and take on whatever with the Justice League, Darkseid or whatever.
Yeah. See, what I saw today, which was pretty interesting, is Joker killed Robin. And this is kind of what I think it was yesterday we were talking about this. But you know how we were saying that Joker is how he is in Suicide Squad, because it's not the Joker.
Yep.
Well, apparently, this Batman, this Ben Affleck Batman, has killed the Joker for killing Joker.
Yeah.
And this is indeed
For killing Robin.
For killing Robin, sorry.
Yeah.
And this is indeed a different Joker, which makes sense. But I've also read that this could possibly be none other than Robin.
Makes sense, because he's so weird.
The thing is, I think that a lot of these sort of things where people are just saying, well, if Ben Affleck killed the Joker because Joker killed Robin, and that's why he's as he is, it should fall to people on the internet to come up with these things. It should be explained.
No, but
it should be in the film.
It's probably not going to be. It's just going to be, this is a different version of the Joker. Whereas they could actually make it a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But as you say, it's already finished. The film's done. And they're going to sit there and go, shit, we should have done that.
Yeah, I
Balls.
know. But it's, again, people are making connections to make the film make sense. But these are things that haven't been explained in the film. So we're making these assumptions going, oh my god, well if they do this, this and this, oh that's brilliant, that's a stroke of genius. So I don't know if they just sort of put this out and then wait for people to connect the dots, and whichever ones are the most popular, they say, okay, we'll do that in the next film.
It's not a bad way to do it, to be honest.
But it's a lazy way of doing it.
It's a very lazy way of doing it, but it gives the people what they want. But then again, you get what you want after something you didn't want.
Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about future films and stuff.
Fuck that off.
In terms of this actual film, the film that we all saw yesterday, when you came out of the cinema, what were you thinking?
Confused.
That's a very apt word.
Because to be honest, I mean, I can't really have much of a preference because
You're a girl.
no, but when we went to see Man of Steel, I was 9 months pregnant, so I was in and out the toilet. So when obviously you'd come back in, it would be in a completely different story. It's a bit like Inception. You're like, what the hell's going on now?
No, but you fell asleep during Inception.
Well,
that's why
true,
you didn't
but,
understand that.
You know, it was a bit like that, and I did feel that way a little bit. It'd be like, oh, it's Batman's bit now, and then you got to shove in a bit of Superman, and then it was going to Lex Luthor to explain his bit, and then oh no, we're back to Batman. It just didn't flow at all.
Yeah,
at the end
the
of
pacing was really off.
Yeah.
But the fact that the pacing was so fast, like the pacing in The Force Awakens was really fast.
Yeah.
But it was still exciting. It had you gripped. You knew who everyone was and why everyone was doing whatever they were doing. In this, I still don't really know as to what Lex Luthor's ultimate goal was.
Mm-mm.
The problem is, though, with that is the Force Awakens was just A New Hope. So you knew what was going to happen, pretty much. Everyone knew Han was going to die. You could see that coming from a mile off. And because it was essentially scene for scene, near enough, A New Hope, they could be very lazy in the storytelling. Whereas
then,
this hasn't got that possibility to do that.
Well, they could have just done what they did with the Avengers. If they just wanted to say, we just need to do something safe, we know that the Avengers worked, we'll do a solo Batman film, we'll do a solo Wonder Woman film, we'll do a solo Superman film, and then we'll have, because that's only 3, whereas Marvel had like 4 or 5 maybe,
Something
before
like
they
that,
got to the Avengers. So then they can just throw them all in together to take on, even Doomsday's still a stupid idea this early on. We said that from the start though.
Yeah.
But they could have just had Lex Luthor as a general bad guy who was just trying to get them all to fight each other, and then when they figured out that they're not all the bad guys, they all team up and immediately take down Lex Luthor. Then they go, well, we actually worked pretty well together as a team, there's a lot of problems in the world, maybe we can all chip in and try and do something about it, rather than just Batman stays in Gotham, Wonder Woman doesn't do anything apart from go to parties apparently, and Superman does everything else all over the world. So they could have done that and then said maybe a team isn't such a bad idea, and then they could have gone, oh shit, look at this guy, here's Flash, oh look at this guy, here's Cyborg, and here's Aquaman. And then that could have been the setup for the next Justice League film, because they knew they existed but they didn't need them until Darkseid or Bizarro or fucking Mongol or Brainiac or something that they say, the 3 of us, as powerful as we all are not going to be enough, we need someone else.
Yeah.
Then that would have been fine. You could have just done that over 5 years. It would have been very similar to the sort of the Marvel approach of doing things, but the fact is Marvel have done it and it shows that it works.
At the end of the day, they're both superhero films. If they're going to team up, it's always going to draw comparisons. Doesn't mean it's got to be the same film.
No, not at all.
There's a lot of films that do, like, I don't know, say the Joker was the main villain of the Nolan trilogy. They'd probably keep him till the last bit, build it up. It's the same setup, building up to the big one.
Yeah, there'll be one guy that not one person is strong enough to take down.
Yeah, which obviously is not necessarily the Joker, but it's like Bane. Batman couldn't take on Bane on his own.
No, he needed Catwoman to shoot him.
He needed Catwoman to shoot him, and the police force to commit
Fight
suicide.
Everyone else, yeah. What happened to Batman being like the all-encompassing, no, I don't need any help? Instead he was just like, go get them, police officers, I'll just go after this one man.
Well, they've done the same thing with this, though. Like, the last line is just Batman just saying, like, I need you to help me find others like you.
Yeah.
And it's like, alright.
I failed him in life.
I'm not going to fail him in death.
Yeah. Like, his sacrifice isn't going to be wasted, basically. So, that could be the thing.
Spoiler.
If it's a case... What?
Spoiler.
The whole thing's a fucking spoiler. But it's like, he's... You know, if this was... I don't know, however long since Robin was killed, that period of time he's just been... He doesn't really care if he kills people or not. If they just get killed, fair enough.
Yeah.
But after Superman's died, it's just like, he did try to be better than us. He did try not to kill everyone and blah, blah, blah. But they never have a conversation in that sort of, you know, what you do is wrong. You know, you shouldn't be okay with killing people, there's a better way of doing it. You shouldn't be branding people and breaking arms and legs and stabbing people and throwing people through walls and stuff. There's a better way to do it. So because they didn't have that conversation, again, it doesn't really make sense for him to stand there at the end and just saying, yeah, I should probably turn my act around. Because his act was fine. He beat Superman.
Yeah, he did what he set out to do.
Yeah, exactly. And then it wasn't until he shouted Martha, and he's just like, where did you hear that name?
Good impression.
Thanks.
That's an awful
Been
impression.
working on it.
That's about
It's
right.
awful. Sound
An
like
awful
Christian Bale.
Alright. No, I need more phlegm for that.
A mouthful of candy, apples. I could think of
What?
any sweets, I don't know.
Shut up.
What do Americans eat?
Jolly Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers?
Yeah, that get pushed into your mouth by Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
Which is
seductively.
awkward and weird.
He is just the whole
Speaking of Mr. Weird, whatever the fucking hell he was. Shit, Lex Luthor. Well,
Yeah, that's-
Alexander Luthor.
Yeah, I don't know.
So is Lex dead?
I don't know.
Is he
weird.
Are the-
is he taking
is-
over his dad's
Is this even the
fortune?
real Superman? Like, I mean, everyone just seems to be, well, it's not really Batman, it's this other Batman, it's not really Joker, it's this other Joker, and it's not really Lex Luthor, it's some other... It's like, can we just have whoever you say their name is, please?
They never specify whether his dad's dead or not. Or just, is he incarcerated somewhere, or...
Yeah, but isn't his dad's name Lionel?
You'd think so. But it was because on one of the press releases, it's Lex Luthor Jr.
But that doesn't answer the question, though, does it? It's not, is it the Lex Luthor who's the brilliant mastermind genius, robot armor wearing guy? Or is this another Lex Luthor who's just an idiot and a bit of a
No,
schizophrenic?
that's what I mean, is I think it's Lex Luthor's son.
Well, it's got to be so much younger than everybody
Yeah,
else,
he's
isn't he?
too young.
But then, why would you not include Lex Luthor?
That's what I mean, is he dead? Is he what?
We don't know. That's the thing. There's so many possibilities, but none of them are explained. Absolutely none of them. Kryptonite. Where did that come from? Just found it in the ocean.
Krypton.
How did it get there? Don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a never-ending loop of plot holes and things that just don't make sense.
Like we said yesterday, I think it's done as a sense that they're just assuming everyone knows kryptonite, what kryptonite is, what it does to Superman. So you just go, it's kryptonite.
Yeah.
And you don't question as to how Lex found this information out before even having Zod's body.
Yeah, but again, Superman still didn't know anything about Krypton and the universe and stuff because he didn't have the Fortress of Solitude, which is what teaches him everything, Krypton's collective knowledge.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have even known what kryptonite was, and he certainly didn't know what it was called. And yet Lex Luthor whips it out of the ocean, and all of a sudden it's kryptonite this, kryptonite that. Like, how do you even know this? Do you even know he's from Krypton?
So-
Is that something that Zod told them? I don't know.
They said particles a lot, didn't they? Instead of kryptonite, it was always the particles.
Yeah, it was just sort of like a green
remember that.
rock. There's like a meteor that's something like a certain mineral that's
Mineral.
radioactive.
That's it,
No,
not
yeah.
particles, mineral.
I was going to say, I don't remember particles.
Mineral.
Yeah, so Lex Luthor, I think Jesse Eisenberg is he's a good actor. I've seen him in quite a few things, and he's really good.
He'd be a good Riddler.
He would be a good Riddler, and I think that if he whipped off that hair and he was just like, "Ha ha, joke's on you, Batman," and then just whips a cane out, bonks him on the head, and then jumps into a Riddler copter and flies away. I could have been like, well, that was stupid, but it makes sense now. That's why he was so ridiculous through the entirety of the film.
Yeah, it was all an act.
Exactly. I mean, this is something we talked about yesterday. If this whole sort of like a bit nervous, a bit twitchy, a bit sort of on edge kind of Lex Luthor persona was just an act, and then when it came to his plans were getting fucked up, or there weren't cameras and people around, and he was just talking to Superman, he would just drop that mask, and he would just be like
Take a wig off.
he'd pull the wig off, and he would just become just horrific, like a really sinister, just evil bad guy.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't. He's just this same sort of weird, socially awkward kind of
Facebook
nut
creator.
job. Yeah.
So I wasn't impressed with him at all. Who I was impressed with, we're going to save Affleck till last.
Yeah, easily, yeah.
For the short time she was in it, Gal Gadot did a fucking good job.
She was awesome.
Yeah, I think she was underused. mainly for the fact that she was in the trailers, she was in everything, and she just seems to be at parties.
Yeah.
Just trying to retrieve a photograph
Maybe she's
from
an
Lex
alcoholic.
Luthor's. Well, surely she can't get drunk, or she's got to like drink the fucking alcohol of the gods in order to get pissed. You can't just give her a can of Foster's and expect her to keel over.
White lightning.
Most people, yeah, it's just hanging down the park. But no, for the short while she was in it, I thought she was really good.
Yeah. Again, though, it's that she's using the lasso, she's using the bracelets, the like gauntlet things. But there's still we still don't know what she can do. We don't know how powerful she is. We don't know if she can fly. Again, a solo movie would have sorted all of this out. So when we see them doing all this kind of crazy stuff, we'd go, okay, that's why she's not flying through the air, because she can't.
Yeah.
So we just haven't got that. So that's really annoying. But I think that as an actress, I think she's fine. I think she's done a pretty good job.
Much better than we expected.
Yeah, easily, yeah. But it's only because she's not in it very much.
I don't know. I think she'd have still been as good if she'd have been in it more.
Well,
I don't think she'd have got worse.
She's only Wonder Woman for like 10 minutes.
Well, the last. Well, as soon as they get to Gotham, isn't it?
Yeah, but she's on a plane. But I mean, she's only fighting as Wonder Woman for about 10 minutes against Doomsday. I mean,
yeah. So it's.
But she somehow manages to get from the airport to wherever the fuck they are.
Yeah.
We figured all this out, Dan. Metachlorians.
Yeah, it's Speed Force.
Speed Force. Considering how much promo stuff he was in, what the fucking hell was the point was having Aquaman?
He looked so out of place.
Yeah.
He looked as if they'd just taken that guy, thrown him in a swimming pool, given him a spear, and said, "Stab the camera."
Yeah.
And he's just getting, and his eyes were all bulgy and stuff. It didn't look like he was natural underwater.
No, it looked like he was drowning.
Yeah, it looked like he was an actor who was underwater.
God of Atlantis can't swim.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just I kind of like the way when he sort of like went back in. He sort of like his head went back and his hair was sort of like tentacles. Like, you know, like when an octopus or a squid or something, like, sort of...
I didn't notice that, to be honest.
...whips away, like, his hair sort of, like... I think it was quite a good effect. He did not look good under the water. So, hopefully, whenever he's in it next, just steer clear of Atlantis.
Hopefully he's drowned.
Get him out. Get him out of the sea. Get him into Metropolis or something, and just have him shout at people.
Do you reckon he'll have his green and orange suit?
Well,
we've already seen him as Aquaman.
I know, but that's the thing. There was this big thing about Aquaman being in it, and then he's just like a file, like a WAV file. That's it. That's what we came for. I was looking forward to Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman all being in this in some point or another. Obviously, it'd be a third act kind of thing where they'd all get sort of pulled in.
Yeah.
And then not even that.
You could have missed it, to be fair, if you were in the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few people were bobbing in and out, going to the toilet and stuff.
Oh, what brought up yesterday was Lex Luthor's got this secret file on metahumans. And you got Wonder Woman, you got Flash, you got Cyborg, you got Aquaman. Now, everyone assumed throughout most of the film Batman wasn't a man. He was some kind of inhuman, shall we say?
Yeah, he was a demon,
for lack
devil.
of a better word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you find the guy who's Batman's branded, and the policeman looks up and Batman's just in the corner.
Yeah.
And he starts shooting and he's like scuttering across the ceiling and dicking around and just gets away as if he's just disappeared.
Yeah.
Why isn't Batman on that file?
Cause if we're working on the assumption that Batman has been doing this for 20 years and he's been keeping an eye on people who aren't in the public eye, you know, they're people who've just, like, because Aquaman's clearly just under the ocean, just doing whatever he's doing. Someone stumbled across him.
Yeah.
Flash is just some guy, by the looks of it. And Cyborg is a PlayStation 2 FMV from, like, 2000, because that looked fucking
PsyOps.
awful. It looked awful. I absolutely hated that, and I really like Cyborg.
You know what would have been
I'm
ace?
fucking gutted.
If there was a radio on in there and it was playing the
Teen Titans theme tune.
No, what's the song from Teen Titans Go? The hamburger song. It's like,
Ketchup, butter, lettuce, bun, tomatoes, patty, something.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember. I'll edit it in. I'll play it.
Buns, ketchup, pickle, cheese, put that patty in between his burger. What is burger? What? Buns, ketchup, pickle, cheese, put that patty in between his burger. What is burger?
Oh, hey! I was in the middle of my burrito song!
Okay.
But it's really funny. It's what him and Beast Boy sing.
Right, okay.
That'd have been amazing. Oh, I wish
It's like
that
that's
was it.
Beast Boy scuttling in and out.
Yeah. That'd be nice if Beast Boy was in it.
Well, I
Maybe
think
that was Doomsday.
if Cyborg picks up and people actually enjoy the character, they'll go for a Teen Titans film in a sort of Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy sort of thing.
Well, they was doing a live action show and that got cancelled.
Yeah, I remember that being mentioned
Yeah.
a while ago.
And that was cancelled pretty quickly.
Yeah. But speaking of other metahumans, one of the biggest and for most people, I imagine the most confusing parts of the film is when Batman finally gets the transponder thing that he was breaking into Lex Luthor's computer with, pops it into the computer, he's decrypting files, and then all of a sudden he's in the middle of the desert, and parademons are flying around all over the place. He's breaking necks and shooting motherfuckers, and then he gets chained up with two other dudes. Superman flies in, cuts them in half, and then what looks like he puts his hand through his chest,
Yeah.
and then he wakes up, and then the Flash is there.
In an Iron Man suit.
I mean, what was that about?
That was weird.
I really don't like this
bonkers.
Flash. We've seen him twice and I don't like him.
What did you say? You're quite racist, weren't you, when you said
No, don't say
you can't really say that.
He was no Grant Gustin, we'll put it that
No.
way.
No, he wasn't. But I mean, I like, because again, this is something we mentioned yesterday. But I love Flash as a character. I think he's brilliant. I think the Flashpoint paradox is amazing, and that I think is what's coming into this is the fact that Flash has had to travel back in time to stop something happening. I think it was Martha Wayne getting killed, and that just sent Superman over the edge. And
Well, no, it's Lois, isn't it? He says Lois is the key.
well, no, but that's the thing, you see, because he's saying she was my world, you took my world. And Jonathan Kent, in that sort of another hallucination, was saying she was my world, and now Lois is yours, or something like that. And then Clark says something similar to Martha. So, like, I think the general assumption is that it would be Lois Lane that would cause him to go this, and basically just Injustice, Gods Among Us.
I
That-
see, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Lois, Joker makes Superman kill Lois, and then that's what turns him into a dictator.
Yeah.
You know. But in this, because Lex Luthor's captured Martha, and then Flash says you've got to save her. She's the key. She's really important. And then when he finds out that it's his mother's been captured by Lex, and he'll kill her if Superman doesn't kill him. That's why he's just like, I'll save her. Don't worry, because he just immediately turns and he's just
to
like,
make sure
I'll-
she gets saved.
yeah, she will not be dying tonight. Which is then when he flies over there
Yes.
and absolutely wastes everyone in there. But again, we'll get to that
Yeah.
because that's amazing.
Speaking of, though, that bit where Lex is handing the photos to Superman, while he's chucking them on the floor,
Oh yeah,
and Superman has this little mini breakdown.
yeah, and he's just he's
That's the most character build-up of Superman we've seen over Man of Steel and over Batman v Superman in like 12 seconds. And then he went back to being Pinocchio, just wooden as shit. Which ironically, he had a really good what's the word, like characteristics and emotion and stuff in Man from U.N.C.L.E. It would have fitted very well into this film,
yeah.
but he didn't. He just carried on to play Super Kent.
Yeah, I mean, the Clark Kent persona isn't it's not as Christopher Reeves as I'd like it.
No.
Because Christopher Reeves did a great Clark Kent because he was just sort of a pushover of a man. Who he was very unassuming. It's just like, oh, shut up, Clark.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know anything. This Superman's great. You don't know what you're talking about. And then he can change, but that's why no one catches him as being Clark Kent, because they're just as being Superman, because they're just totally different. Whereas this guy, he's just Superman with glasses on.
Yeah. He wears tight shirts, shows off how fucking ripped he is.
Yeah,
He's like
exactly.
say he doesn't change his hair, he just puts a pair of glasses on. But it needs to be I know it's a lot easier for Matt Murdock as Daredevil, because who the fuck's going to suspect a blind guy?
Yeah.
I'm not saying Superman should make Clark Kent blind, but
Should definitely be some differences.
yeah, he's got to have some differentiate the two, because
Yeah, that's why he's he's meek, and he's very sort of level-headed and calm and quiet, because he doesn't want to sort of. And plus, if you start going in, well, actually, I think it was Lex Luthor behind this. They go, well, how do you know that? You seem to be all up in this Clark Kent. And wait a minute, just take those glasses off. Holy shit, you're Superman, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's that Jimmy Kimmel bit, isn't it? From that late night show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
as much as it pains me to admit, Jimmy Kimmel was pretty right on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's still a fucking. Oh, I can't say it. Say it.
See you next Tuesday.
I see you next Tuesday. Dan will say
Cunt.
it. There you go. I don't like that
I thought
word.
you weren't going to say it because of the podcast. But...
No, Dan says it. I'm sick of beeping it out. It's more time consuming than it's worth.
Cunt, flap, cunts.
Cunty cunt.
Don't
Yes.
you join in.
My favourite
Filth balls.
swear word.
Welcome to the PvP Cunt Hour.
It's
Right,
smooth
who's a
jazz in the
cunt?
background.
Anyway, speaking of nothing, because we've totally gone off subject.
No, you're saying someone was a cunt.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't like Jimmy
totally,
Kimmel. However, Flash.
Yeah.
Do you think that, because we've seen in Zack Snyder tweeted a photo of him and Jason Momoa looking like rock stars, and in the back they seem to be on set, like on the workshop area of the set, and you can see Batman's cowl, Batman's suit, Aquaman's
Wasn't
suit.
that Kevin Conroy?
No.
That's not Flash. The picture you sent me was not. That wasn't the guy who's playing Flash now.
No, the Flash suit's in the back.
Yeah, you said it was the guy who plays Flash and Jason Momoa.
No, Zack Snyder.
Oh, was that Zack Snyder?
Yeah, the director.
Right. Okay. Wow,
And
he
Jason
looks super
Momoa.
like Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Ronroy.
Kevin
It's his
Conroy.
uncle.
Yeah, Scooby Doo's uncle. Go on.
So he's obviously got a pretty faithful Flash suit. Just red. Just like the
Well,
like,
red and yellow.
yeah, like the
lightning.
CW Flash suit essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think the suit that he has on when he travels through time to tell Bruce to warn him about this dystopian future that could happen if he doesn't save Martha, do you think he needs this particular suit in order to travel back in time?
What I hope it is, I hope it's a future Flash costume.
Right.
Because if they say he needs a special suit to go back in time, I'm done. Because he doesn't.
No, he
He
doesn't.
can wear,
but
he can wear his pyjamas and he can still break the time barrier and he can still go back in time. He doesn't need like a containment suit.
that's what I mean. There's got to be a reason why he's got this. Because like the helmet just opens up and he just
Spaceman.
starts talking and it's just, oh.
Yeah. But think about it though. Like if say, because obviously the vision that he showed Bruce Wayne was Darkseid.
Yeah.
It was Darkseid's parademons.
Which looked awesome.
Oh yeah, totally. But again, though, it's like, why are the Superman soldiers? Why are they Batman soldiers? Is Superman? Is he now in charge? Did he kill Darkseid and take his place? Does, again, there's a lot of stuff that's unanswered. But it sets up a future film where something like that could happen.
Yeah.
But Flash goes back to stop it,
Yeah.
and that's what changes everything. But in that sort of way, do you remember the DC Online Blur trailer that they did? It's about 15 minutes long. This was a future in which Lex Luthor had arranged a sort of evil Justice League of bad guys, and then the Justice League were all facing off against them, and it was just a massive free-for-all battle to the death.
Yeah.
Everything was just getting wasted, and like Batman had like a general's uniform, kind of like armor, but he was like a general military armor rather than
his power
just standard
armor.
batsuit. Yeah. So what I was thinking was, if in this future when they're all fighting Darkseid, they've got to, like, if Superman puts on the Kryptonian battle armor that Jor-El wore in Man of Steel, Batman has like an adapted version of his power armor. Wonder Woman has her own battle armor. Aquaman has his own battle armor, and they make a Flash battle armor.
Yeah.
And then when everything's fucked, everyone's getting killed, and he's just like, there's only one way it's going to fix this. Got to go back and stop it. And that's when he flies around the world and goes back in time, and that's why he's wearing armor.
Yeah.
If it's anything other than that, I'm out.
I wouldn't push it off so quickly because it's unlikely that that's going to happen.
Again, though, if they say, "Oh, we just need to put you in this special thing so you can go back in time,"
Yeah.
why would that be a thing?
No.
If they can just get normal Superman that flies around the world fast enough, he can turn back time, and he wasn't in a fucking special outfit, then you don't need Flash doing it.
You don't, but they've got to. They can't just go, "Oh, this is just Flash's costume,"
Yeah,
because that's stupid.
yeah, no, it's when they've got the perfectly good Flash, and he's got the Flash outfit on underneath it, which means it's just something that's been put on top of
Over
it.
it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But evidence again to to support the fact that it's Darkseid is in the files that Wonder Woman's using, the Lex Luthor files. The Silas Stone recording of Vic Stone being sort of up on his chalkboard, getting worked. He has a mother box with him,
Yeah.
and a mother box in Justice League War, which is like the New 52, which I think is what they're kind of basing all this sort of stuff on. A mother box fuses with this like arc reactor.
You can't use that word.
Arc reactor here. It's basically like the mother box sort of fuses with technology that's being used to save Vic Stone's life, and then that's what turns him into Cyborg. It seems a very less interesting version of that has happened. It just suddenly flies across the room, and then there you go, there's Cyborg.
Yeah.
That's bonkers.
It looked good though. The box did.
Yeah, that looked amazing. Which is why I don't know why Cyborg looked awful.
Yeah. It was pretty fucking poor. But Zoe's going to give her opinion, and then she's got stuff to do.
Girl stuff.
Girl
Opinion
stuff.
on the whole film, or just
Well, what was your favourite bit?
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
Ben Affleck as Batman, or just Ben Affleck as eye candy?
as Batman.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. What's your least favourite part?
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Of the whole film, your least favourite part was Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he was
Wow.
ridiculous.
What about as a Riddler?
Yeah, possibly. No,
Yes!
honestly, possibly. But like everything you've ever seen or ever heard about Lex Luthor, like you say, he's a mastermind. He's brilliant. You know, he thinks everything through. He was just a weirdo.
In argument to that, sorry, the bit where he blew up the Senate was pretty fucking genius.
It was clever.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
It was clever. Don't get me wrong, but like the whole having a basketball court in the office and all that
Yeah, it
little
seemed
like
very-
really childish type things. It's like he's a mastermind. Why has he got to have these little gimmicky type things? He should be in his lab or office or whatever. Focusing.
Yeah, but again though,
everything.
if that was a part of the act, and then he just drops it, fine.
Yeah, forgive
it
him.
just then
Yeah.
it makes sense. But it just doesn't stop. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I just don't get why they made it's such a weird choice.
To be honest, when you saw the trailer and he had that weird voice when he comes up, it's like
The
when
red
he's got
capes
hair.
are coming.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
why?
Before you go,
Yeah.
it's just reminded me with you saying the basketball thing. Do you know who he reminded me of as Lex Luthor in this film? The way he acted for most of the first half of the film. Do you know the guy on GTA 5 who Michael has to dress up like a hipster and go and put he's like created a new cell phone and he gets blown up and you watch it on TV.
No.
Do you not remember that guy?
No.
Oh.
I only remember the guy that he fucks his teddy bear in the eye.
No, well that was Trevor anyway. But it's like one of the first main mission things you do as Michael.
Oh shit! When you basically got to break into the equivalent of the Facebook.
Yeah,
offices
it
and-
reminds
Oh,
me of
right,
that guy. If it turned out he was really fucking evil.
Yeah, because I mean, LexCorp is like it's sort of like the big black face, not black face. Faceless black operation, like Black Ops thing. That's what I was trying to say. Apologies. I can't come back from that. Forget it.
Can't leave
Skippity
that
beep
in
bap
there.
boo.
Yeah, Zoe. Final verdicts.
Out of 10, and your honest opinion.
If as a whole film, if you could say no, you've got to give it an overall rating, not based on a certain part, it would probably be 3 or a 4 out of 10.
Whoa.
Fucking hell.
Honestly,
Okay.
I really didn't. I did enjoy it, but only because of like
Of
Batman's
certain parts.
aspects, and even
Yeah.
Wonder Woman and that. It was just the rest of it was just so rushed and it did not make sense at all.
Well, there you go. Looks like that Metacritic rating wasn't so far off, Zoe.
But they've just gone
Zoe's a real
insane,
critic.
like Batman and Robin was better, and it's like they've kind of given it a really harsh because they haven't said like, oh, this was a really good part and whatnot. They've just said no, it was shit. But it wasn't shit. It was just, as a whole film, it didn't make sense. It was just a purely Batman film.
Yeah, there was 5 or 6 outstanding points in it, and then everything else that was sort of trying to tie it together just didn't do a particularly interesting job.
See, that's why it is such a not a taboo subject. That's a really bad way of putting it. But when it's good, it's fucking good.
Yeah.
When it's bad, it's fucking shit.
It's one of them.
Yeah, I was yawning
Yeah.
through quite
See,
a bit of it,
now-
like physically yawning.
I was through the whole thing. I didn't get bored. I didn't. At no point did I sit there and go, "This is fucking turd." And I came out and I enjoyed it. And today, I played Arkham Knight with the Batman v Superman skin, and I just enjoyed it. But I also enjoyed it in the same sense that I enjoyed X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
It was a good film. It was a shit X-Men film.
Yeah.
And this is a good film, and it's a very, very, very good Batman film. It's just a shit Superman sequel,
Yeah.
and as it happens, a shit Batman v Superman.
I think obviously it is totally like personal opinion. Like if someone
Of
comes
course,
up to
yeah.
me
Everything
tomorrow
is.
and says like, "Oh, what did you think of Batman?" and I'd be like, "My opinion is based on this." I mean, like we already had comments, didn't we, from someone saying that they thought Bale was a better Batman. They didn't like it for certain points, and that's their opinion. But
They're wrong.
personally, like out of everything, it was just all him.
Though I will always disagree. Bale was not a good
No,
Batman.
he was good for that type of genre of Batman. Like this Batman is completely different. Like you say, he's been through stuff that they haven't really explained, but you know that obviously, like Robin was killed and he's gone. Just you know what, I do all this and I get fucked over anyway. I might as well just go in, do what I've got to do and get out.
Yeah.
Not care
That's
about
what she said.
consequences.
Hey,
Oh,
that's how Logan was born.
Yeah. You know, not.
But no,
care.
it's a very Punisher mentality though.
Yeah.
It's just sort of it's just getting to the realization where you're just saying I've been doing this for so long,
Yeah.
and I've not got anywhere. Maybe it is worth just putting them down for good.
Been
Well, it's a
lot,
case
yeah.
of not to bring Daredevil up again. And I know you want to go, but there's a line in Daredevil season 2 with the Punisher. Well, there's two. The first one is what I really liked. You're just one bad day away from becoming me,
Yeah.
which is true.
Yeah.
And then the other is, if we was on about this yesterday, and Wonder Woman says the exact same line, is you hit people down, you hit people, they go down, and then they're back on the streets doing it again.
Yeah.
I hit them, and they stay down.
Yeah.
And if Batman had had this mentality, Robin wouldn't be dead.
No.
Batgirl wouldn't be fucking... well, Barbara wouldn't be paralysed. And...
But if they've got the Flash, and
Yeah, I
Flash
know
has
where
gone
you go.
back in time to stop Lois or Martha Kent being killed by Lex or whatever the situation is that causes that weird Darkseid future, wasn't it just sending back to stop Robin getting killed?
Not even that. His parents.
Because there are
Well,
repercussions.
then there's no Batman, so then that's a paradox.
Yeah.
Well.
There's always repercussions.
Yeah. You can't change time. It is what it is.
True, but
Listen to Wells.
You mess with
No,
time,
but-
something else is going to get messed up.
Yeah.
yeah, but you've still got the Flash though. So you just
Obviously.
keep on
You can't
sending
just
back
keep-
to
Well, like you
repair.
said-
Constantly running.
No, but like you said, that the Joker makes Superman kill Lois.
in Injustice.
In
Yeah.
Injustice,
yeah.
But then
yeah,
you go,
yeah.
then that's like, that's messed up for him. He could have just said, no, send Flash to change the time and I never have to do it.
Yeah, but then somebody else could get killed.
That's what I mean, you can't change time. It is what it is. What happens, happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know that you've still got the Flash as a get out of jail free card. If it gets to the point where things are so bad
Yeah.
and the world's about to explode, you just go, right, okay, it's probably this that fucked us up. Right, Flash, go back and stop us from doing that. And then it may very well change history to the point where whatever was going to blow them all up didn't happen, but something equally bad was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So it would just be a constant fight. But the fact that they've thrown time travel into it so fastly, it means that they can completely retcon every film if they want to.
Yeah.
Because Flash can just go back and change everything, and then you've got a brand new Justice League with all different cast members, and now Batman's a golden boy.
Do you think they'll sit there and like the Justice League will be watching Batman v Superman, and Flash is like, fuck this, and just goes back and does it all again?
It's probably a meme in the making, that is, isn't it?
That would be brilliant. But
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, Zoe,
your final comments before you scarp her.
I did really enjoy it. I did.
No, sorry.
No, I
sorry.
did enjoy it. It was just
Let's
the
just go
case-
back to the 3 or 4 out of 10.
I did enjoy it, but for Batman, and that was it. If you're going in there as a Batman film, I would have come out, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Loved it. It's the best film I've seen, whatever. But it was just all the other stuff that ruined it. But it was meant to be a Superman sequel, so you can't really say that. But I did.
I do agree.
enjoy
That was the
them
main
aspects.
thing I was thinking about going into it.
Yeah.
Was it?
I hope.
In terms of the film, I don't really care what happens.
Yeah.
How good is Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
What's that going to be like?
Yeah.
And I wasn't disappointed.
Not in the
But it was
And I think
everything
that's
else
why.
that confused me.
Sorry, I think that's why when it comes to the end of the spoiler cast and we give our final verdicts, I think that's why my score is going to be significantly higher than Zoe's, because I literally went in hoping Affleck was good, and he far exceeded it.
That is my point. I mean, I love Batman. Batman's my favourite comic book hero ever.
Boo.
Hey, she didn't say superhero. High five.
But at the same time, you're going in there as a Superman sequel for one, and obviously they were told you're going to have Flash, you're going to have Wonder Woman, you're going to have Aquaman, you're going to have Cyborg, you're going to have all these people in it. And it was just so rushed and thrown together, it did ruin it.
They didn't need to have Cyborg and them.
They didn't need to have any of them in.
Flash.
That little...
Because that, no matter what anyone
That
says,
flashback,
that
yeah.
scene was fucking ace.
It was. It wouldn't have made any sense. Obviously, we didn't see the file on him to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, who's that guy sticking his head through this little light?
Exactly, but then you'd watch the film in 5 years' time and just go, oh, that's why he was in Batman vs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, he was time traveling. That makes sense. Like, we can watch it and go, holy shit, that's the Flash. Flashpoint paradox. He's going back in time.
Yeah.
Something's happened in the future. That's the future film. Brilliant. But someone can just go, well, that was weird. Was that just another dream sequence?
Yeah.
But then they'll watch whatever film, Justice League film it is in the future. Then they'll see Flash go back in time in a crazy metal suit.
Yeah.
And then they'll make the connection, go, oh, right, so he was affecting something in that film,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. So that was fine, but that all the other sort of dream sequences and hallucinations and flying boys through bats and stuff, didn't need them.
No.
Didn't need Man-Bat.
No, he didn't.
Oh, man, this film is bonkers. But Zoe, if you want to go...
Yeah. Final
Off you
verdicts
pop.
on the film. 3 or 4 out of 10. Ben Affleck, 10 out of 10. Done. Okay.
They are. Well done.
Yeah.
Take
That's
note,
all right.
IGN.
Yeah.
You fucking turds. So, Daniel, we're
Yes.
alone now.
Oh, give me your penis.
My fat penis. I do want to say something that I did forget to mention while we were talking. Something that really, really irritated me is Batman had obviously, for whatever reasons, everybody seems to know what kryptonite is.
Yeah.
Batman's managed to steal the stuff that Luthor had, which we will say was a fucking good scene when Luthor turns up and like Lex Corp's been fucking trashed and he gets to the case where the kryptonite was and there's just a fucking batarang in it.
Yeah, but he did also say, Lex also said, that's why I let him take the kryptonite.
Yeah, I just meant that scene itself it was like but then you find out that he was basically allowed to do it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Batman makes all these weaponry and stuff. It's something that you called on one of your podcasts, in a sense that on the trailer, Batman fires the canister at Superman, and you said, I bet that's filled with kryptonite gas, and it was.
Yeah.
So well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well done.
It was mainly for the fact of the setup and the fact that I went back and watched Dark Knight Returns a bunch of times. But it was just so reminiscent of him just turning around and catching the Green Arrow fire at him. And then that kryptonite gas just gets blown in his face. And I was just like, called it.
Yeah.
as soon as he started making those grenades, like he had the gas, like the kryptonite gas in that case, I was just like, he's going to put those in grenades, he's going to fire it at Superman, he's going to get the gas in his face, and then that's why he can block the punch. Knew it. I could have just walked out right there and just been like, called it, see you in a bit, guys.
You're welcome, see you later.
Yeah, but we'll go over a few of the other things that we talked about in a bit.
I'm finished.
Oh,
That wasn't where I was going. I was just applauding your detective skills.
Oh, right, okay. Well, there's plenty of time for us to circle jerk later on.
Well, yeah, that's for after. But why did Lois throw the staff away?
Don't know. She's been an absolute fucking idiot in this film.
I
She does nothing apart from get herself into trouble with Jimmy Olsen at the start, and then he gets himself fucking blown away. And then the only time she's of any use is when she stops Batman from killing Superman, and then takes, a fairly useful weapon. She doesn't know what Clark's going to get up to in the future, and she just throws it in a random hole full of water.
Yeah. And
then she gets herself stuck. Yeah, and then he has to come in and save her again. She was really underused. Like in the first one, she was smart. She was standing up to the military and just be like, "Well, I don't care what you're doing here. I'm checking it out as well."
Yeah.
In this, she just seems to be all over the place.
Just a damsel.
Yeah, unfortunately, but obviously they don't need another strong woman when they've got Wonder Woman there.
Yeah, but she's not going to compare. All they needed to do was very similar to how they handled. I forgot her name. Thingy in Daredevil.
Elektra.
No.
Karen.
Karen. How they did Karen and Elektra. Elektra's obviously the strong woman.
Yeah.
But they still gave Karen a really good fucking chance at being a stronger female lead. And it paid off. But you didn't sit there and compare the two and go, oh, I wonder who's the strongest woman. Obviously Elektra. And it'd be the same with this. Obviously Wonder Woman's going to be the stronger of the two women.
Yeah, I was hoping that there would be a kind of like because in several versions, Superman and Wonder Woman are usually together, and they've certainly in the Justice League War, it's heavily implied that they're together. So I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't be Ben Affleck who was the one sort of giving her the little lines or whatever. I thought there'd be some kind of conflict. Some kind of sort of flirting or something going on between Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And then Lois would be just like, what the fuck?
Get your hands off my man.
And yeah, maybe not so racist.
Girl. You don't say that.
But just something to say. You can so her standing up to Wonder Woman saying, I don't care what you're capable of, I'm Lois Lane, you can back the fuck off.
And then she gets a fucking lightning bolt through the chest.
Yeah, probably. But it doesn't matter.
I don't know why.
So
lightning bolt.
I don't know, she just calls him Flash. But yeah, so I don't think Amy Adams got a fair run in this one. It's a similar kind of thing that what they've done with Perry White as well. He seems to be kind of trying to talk Clark out of doing what he wants to do as a journalist and just say, no, just write sports.
Yeah.
We don't care about you writing about Batman. It's just like, well, why would you not have, if you're willing to put Superman on the front page every time he does something, why would you not put Batman on the page? Whether to demonise him or commend him or whatever, he's still a character that's, clearly Gotham is involved in, which is why they've got the bat signal.
Yeah.
So, I don't understand why he's just sort of, no, don't worry about Batman. Unless, if he said, we've got someone else, we've got a whole team who just writes about Batman all day, you just do whatever we need you to do. I wouldn't be bothered.
But in the same token,
the fact that,
why the fucking hell put Clark Kent on sports? Why not a sports writer?
Well, that's the thing. He's supposed to. It's something that's not discussed, but as to what his actual job is, he's a reporter. But is he an investigative reporter like Lois Lane is? Is he just like a newbie? So he basically gets assigned to whatever desk needs him.
Yeah.
In this case, sports. But then when he says, I think we've got something on this, or I've got information on this Batman thing, then I don't understand why they'd say no. Just go back to writing about American football, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martha again underused. She's only in it for damsel in distress stuff.
Yeah.
So
barring the one scene with Superman.
Yeah, when she sort of talks to him. But again, she was the equivalent of the priest from Man of Steel.
Yeah.
You just need someone to just sort of pat him on the back and just say, "Don't worry, it's okay. What you're doing is right, but don't think you need to do it."
Yeah.
Other than that, who else have we got? The General from Batman vs Superman, he's in it, sort of like feeding information to Lois Lane. Those CIA weird bullets, that was another thing that they had to use that to link Lex to the desert incident.
But why though?
Why? Yeah,
Right.
the whole point of that trial was stupid, right?
Superman shot everyone.
Yeah, he flew in at the speed of sound and shot everybody. Are you fucking crazy? Like, if it had been Lex setting it up, why didn't he have people who were using special, like, Superman ability weapons?
Or just
so
set
they
them on
had like
fire.
a heat gun and a freeze gun, and hit them with like special power fists, so it looks like they've been smacked through walls and stuff. Then that way people can go in and go, well, it looks like this is sort of the stuff that Superman is
A
capable
normal
of.
man couldn't have done this.
Yeah, but why would Superman, someone who they've seen fly around the world and stop aliens,
Throw
and
people
stuff,
through buildings and
yeah, why would he just pick up a gun and just say, this is probably way more efficient?
bearing in mind,
So
I'm
that whole-
faster than a bullet.
Yeah, I know, right? That whole court case thing, I assumed wrongly that it was all about Metropolis, and it wasn't. They summoned him to a court hearing for some guys who got shot in the desert.
Some terrorists
and yet
that got
the
shot.
thousands of people that were killed in Metropolis,
They put a statue up.
they gave him a statue amongst all the list of all the names of the people that were killed.
Yeah.
Now, if I had a family member that was killed by Superman getting thrown through a building, I don't necessarily want the picture of a big statue of that person next to the memorial of my family. I still don't know about that. But in terms of the actual Senate hearing, where they're talking about that, and then they get the guy in, like, who was a disgruntled Wayne employee who had his legs broken. The fact that... Now, do you think that Lex said, I've got this wheelchair, it's full of explosives, I'll get you in there and then you can blow up Superman, even though he knows that he won't? Do you reckon he talked him into it, or do you reckon he said, I want to support you as an anti-Superman person?
I think we need to know the exact field distance between... I mean, he wouldn't have been outside, but he'd have had to have been within a certain vicinity in order to trigger the explosives, if Lex is the one that did it. I'm pretty sure that guy knew.
So he set it off himself. Yeah. Although I did like the thing where the senator's just like, you can call peach, like, you can call grandma's grandma's piss like old peach tea or something. Yeah. And then when she sat at her desk, there's a jar of piss, and there's a label on it saying grandma's peach tea, and then she's just sort of freaking out. And I wasn't sure if that was poisoned or something. And she just looks at the guy in the wheelchair, and then he just explodes. Yeah. And I was just like, well, that was unexpected. You just killed off a lot of people there.
As soon as she looked at it, I was like, the fuck's that? And then she turns it, so you see the label, and then Lex isn't there, and you see his name on the chair. I was like, something's going to fucking happen. I didn't think it was going to be that, but fuck me.
No. So again, that's a good scene.
Yeah.
That was a good scene. The reason for Superman being there...
Bad scene.
...was stupid. Yeah. They didn't need to say, we think you shot all these people in the desert. Why would he even bother turning up to say, by the way, when was the last time you saw me with a gun?
Yeah.
Why do you think I need to use a gun? Are you insane? I'm out of here. And then zips out the door. But...
It's the look on his face, though, because, like, he's just there surrounded by, like, fire and debris from the explosion and stuff. You can see the look in his face, like, they've set me up. It's like,
yep, it's just like,
are you really that stupid?
Now they think I'm using bombs as well as guns. Okay, like, I think that if you were trying to set up Superman, there's a lot better ways to do it.
Yeah.
Other than guns and bombs. Like, if you'd have killed a bunch of people, like a bunch of children, and then put them in the buildings and said that Superman was directly responsible because he flew through that building that killed all these kids.
Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah. To any terrorists listening, don't be doing stuff like that. Superman's not real.
Superman. Yeah, you can't blame it on Superman. No. Sorry. So other than that, I'm just going to go through, because we've been going on about this for a long time, sort of general, but there's a few notes of things that I wanted to kind of bring up. So we'll go through this quickly. One thing that you raised up yesterday, which I think is one thing that you wanted me to remind you about, which is a very good point, but also one I did think of at the time. End of the film. Doomsday's fighting Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. Superman saves Lois Lane. He whips the spear out of the sea, or out the fucking puddle that she's thrown it into. then he picks up the spear and he flies it and stabs Doomsday.
Yep.
Why does he not give that spear to somebody else?
Yeah. Now, the argument being, and I did actually remember, I didn't think I would.
Oh, okay,
So,
good.
but thanks for reminding me anyway. If for whatever reason you wasn't sure, this spear is made of kryptonite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Superman picks it up. It's already affecting him, and he flies in, stabs him, and then Doomsday basically kills Superman. Whilst
Again, we'll get to that.
That's a fucking different thing altogether.
Oh yeah.
However, why didn't Superman give the spear to Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Because
Someone who's equally strong as he is.
well, she's as strong
And-
as Superman, isn't she?
Yeah. And also not affected by kryptonite.
Yeah. Worst to worst, give it to fucking Batman. Let
'cause I
you
mean-
and Wonder Woman fucking pummel him, and then let Batman just fucking fire it or something.
Yeah. I mean, they've already shown that you don't need to be super strong to use kryptonite to penetrate their skin, because Lex Luthor cuts off Zod's fingers, like his fingerprints. Yeah. So he uses that scalpel and just carves through the skin. So even a human just using a kryptonite blade can penetrate the skin of a Kryptonian without any kind of issue.
Batman would have no issue doing it.
But he would have to get close enough, and that would be
that's
where
what
the
I
trouble
mean.
is.
If you've got, like, say, Wonder Woman and Superman, they could hold him down for a certain time.
Well, I was just going to say that. Yeah, she uses the lasso, keeps him tied up. Superman wings it over to Batman. He just jumps up and just slams it into his mouth or something.
Yeah. Or even just fucking picks up Batman and throws him. Like,
Yeah,
holding the
speedball
spear.
special, fastball special. Yeah. Oh, why didn't he just throw the spear as hard as he could at him?
Yeah, especially as he.
I mean, for fuck's sake.
Saying that, he had a perfect chance when Batman fires his last kryptonite gas canister at Doomsday's face, and he's like holding his face like, "Whoa!" Superman, throw it then while he's not aware. Done.
Yeah. Or just give it to Lois and just say, I can't. Can you just take care of this? And she goes, fucking hell, fine. And she just runs and just jumps, goes, ah!
Just stabs it in
and
his
stabs
toe.
it into him. Yeah. So that was one thing. That didn't make any sense. You raised a very good point. It was stupid. There was no reason to include the death of Superman. A brilliant story. Should not have been included in this film.
And if it was, this film should have been done way down the line, because
Absolutely.
nobody gives a fuck.
Well, the fact is, if they've killed him off with Doomsday, like, arguably one of his strongest enemies, he kills him, he comes back, any bad guy that he goes up against, if he gets killed, you're going to be like, I'll be fine. They'll just come back like he did last time.
Well, do you think it'll be Flash that brings it back? Speaking of time travel.
No, because he's not dead. Like, in The Death of Superman, he just appears
No, obviously
dead.
not. Yeah, you just think he is, and then you see that last scene where the soil's
Gravel sort of
rising up
vibrates.
and stuff.
Yeah. But that's just the same thing of when he flew in Man of Steel for the first time. He put his hand down,
Yeah.
and all the sort of the snow started to rise into the air. They just copied that from fucking X-Men Last Stand when Magneto's playing chess.
Yeah.
And then he just sort of moves that chess piece and then the film ends.
Yeah.
As soon as that came up, as soon as it went down into the coffin, I was just like, that fucking gravel's going to move and then it's going to end. And that's exactly what happened. And I was just like, oh, that was so cheap. Fuck me. Just leave him dead, because then you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you could say, well, maybe they have actually killed him off, or are they doing the death of Superman, which means they could do a Batman film, Wonder Woman film, and it's not until the Justice League film that Superman comes back to life. Because then it's just like, well, he's been in the Fortress of Solitude the whole time, building Superman robots or something. So, he's just sort of like, I was sick to death of all you people for a bit, so I just wanted to chill. But so there was that. Kryptonite. That was another point I wanted to raise. The fact is, as to where it came from, it could have been the Phantom Drive, it could have been in the world engine that was in the Indian Ocean, which is why I assumed that they found it in the Indian Ocean, is because that's where the world engine was. Or it could have just been in a random meteorite. Everyone just started calling it kryptonite, though.
Yeah. It was just a given.
No explanation to that. Yeah, we all knew it was kryptonite. But the fact is, they didn't say, it wasn't like Lex came out and said, I've been in the Genesis chamber of the scout ship and the thing, I learned all the knowledge of the universe, I found out it's called kryptonite, and then everyone then starts calling it kryptonite. Like fucking Batman calls it kryptonite.
Yeah.
It's just like, sorry, when did you have a chat with Lex Luthor?
See,
So I'm going to have to watch it again to figure out just that point alone.
I mean,
because that's really going to.
There might have been something we missed, but I'm 98%
right.
sure it's never explained. And we brought it up before now that we see in the first big trailer, you see Lex and you just see his face lights up green when he opens the case, and you're like, kryptonite. You're like, how the fuck are they going to explain this? Because kryptonite didn't exist in Man of Steel.
Exactly. Again, that's something I picked up on one of the old things. Martha Kent and Martha Wayne.
Yeah. Why did you say like Michael Caine?
Michael Caine.
Yeah, Martha Kent and Martha Wayne.
I did a little
Master
bit.
Bruce.
Yeah. Why have I never noticed that they've both got the same name before?
I literally, as soon as she said it, and I was like, why the fuck's Batman freaking out over this? And you're like, holy shit.
So that when he was just like, why did you say that name? I was just like, that's really clever. I never put those two together. Yeah. That's a brilliant way of giving him pause for thought. That part, brilliant. Yeah. Well done. Then the Flash cameo, time travel, dark side, or possible futures, all that sort of stuff. Great. The fact that they're talking about possible futures, parallel dimensions, time travel, that sort of stuff. Throw the crazy comic book stuff in early. Get people used to it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That being said, too many flashbacks.
Yeah.
Too many dream sequences.
There was too many, but if they'd have handled them better, like there was no transition. It was just, this is happening. Oh, that was a dream. That was a dystopian future. And then just carries on. And it's like, huh? What? Good. I mean, we don't.
Well, that's why I think that's why I think that one worked though. Is the fact of because they were having so many daydreams and hallucinations and stuff. If the only thing there'd been was just Bruce Wayne sitting there, and then all of a sudden you're just like, holy shit, what the hell? We're in the desert. We're on Apocalypse or whatever. What the fuck's going on? And then the Flash comes through an electricity bolt, and then that's it. Nothing else like that, and it's never explained. That would have been brilliant.
Just about to say that.
Yeah, that would have just been a callback for a future film.
Yeah.
So I would have loved that if they'd have just done that, because I think it would have just been because I would have known what was going on.
It's not only that, it's a case of, for a lot of the stuff that's happening, like even when Superman gets killed, there was a little bit of me that thought, is this a dream sequence?
Yeah, exactly. It's just sort of like, was anything real? Is this something that Flash is changing? Is he actually dead and Flash has to go back to stop him from dying? Or
sorry, if as you were saying earlier, I mean, if you go and see it, there's nothing at the end. We already knew that beforehand, but there's nothing.
I didn't even bother waiting.
If there was a like after the credits scene, and it's just Bruce waking up and the drive's just finished, he's like, oh shit. it was all a dream.
Yes, that was weird, wasn't it? Whew.
Fucking hell. I was going to see if Martha's alright.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing, actually.
Next one, Perry White called Clark Smallville.
Yes, I really like that. It was a good touch.
That was quite good.
Very good touch.
There was sort of a snappy little reference thing, quite like that. Do you think this is a sort of a Spider-Man 3 kind of thing? In the sense of they just went for a big roster of people and they've ended up ruining the franchise, possibly?
No.
Because they've just jam-packed in too many things and none of it made sense.
Spider-Man 3 didn't work because it was shit. And Trophy Grace was a ridiculous... I mean, I know we're giving Jesse Eisenberg some shit, but he can act. And he can act.
Yeah, he's not Venom, no.
But Trophy Grace was not Venom. He was not Eddie Brock.
Yeah, exactly.
He was no one. And he's funny in the 70s show, but that was a long time ago. And thanks to Spider-Man 3, I haven't seen him in anything since. But it was, and I don't like Tobey Maguire, and the whole... They just ruined the symbiote saga completely. And I don't want to see Tobey Maguire strutting down the street, giving girls the eye and dancing and shit. That's just fucking stupid. And then throwing Sandman in there for no fucking reason. And then throwing new Green Goblin in for no fucking reason. It's just stupid.
Exactly, but now they've thrown in Aquaman for no reason. They've thrown in Cyborg for no reason. There is absolutely no benefit to them being in the film. It should have just been a file that was on the screen, like a meta-human file. She opened it, and all that were there were the symbols, and the only one she clicked on was hers because she wanted that photograph.
Yeah, I agree completely with that. There was no need to show anyone but the Flash not on the files, just on the
in the time travel thing.
Just showed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fine.
That's what they should have done. Yeah.
However, if they could have been allowed to have this film 5 hours long, they would have pulled this off.
Explain them all.
They couldn't, and they tried to do too much, and I think that's where it failed. Whereas Spider-Man 3 failed because it was just shit. There was not honestly. The only redeeming feature was the black Spider-Man suit looked pretty fucking cool. That was it.
Yeah.
There was no other redeeming feature in it, and the game was shit as well.
That was reasonable compared to the rest of them.
It was better than the film. The game was, but it was still not good.
Yeah. Grant Gustin and Stephen Amell, should they have been used?
Not in this.
Absolutely.
Oh, maybe obviously Grant
No,
Gustin has
not in this.
Doing the quick time thing.
As Flash.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or just someone who's playing an older version of him.
Well, just do the whole Legends of Tomorrow thing that they did with Stephen Amell. Just fucking age him up a little bit. Make his hair grey, give him a few wrinkles. Job done. Because obviously he's not going to age as fast as a normal human anyway.
Yeah.
So could have been done.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that they could have just, like you say, aged him up a bit, and he didn't need to explain as to what he was doing there. And then, if they wanted to, they could have just explained it in the TV show.
Yeah.
Because they've already done time travel a bunch of times in that.
Plus, they beat Marvel to the punch by actively
incorporating TV with the films. That's a brilliant point. You're absolutely right. But the fact is, though, CW make the TV shows, and obviously Warner Brothers make the film.
Sony own Spider-Man.
All you'd need is, all you'd need is a conversation to say we could forward both of us here, and then they could have done that, and then they could have even tied in Gotham somehow.
No chance.
I don't know, but either way, it would have given them the jump on Marvel by having actively the actors and characters that they play in the film or in the TV show, whichever way they've done. So yeah, I agree. They should have had Flash, at least Flash, in the film, because he's already established in the TV show. That's fine.
That would have been ace though if it had been Stephen Amell that fired the kryptonite arrow.
Well, this is why when we were
cool.
watching the thing, is it Green Arrow? You know, we can't really see his arm. Does he have an arm? You know, if it's Green Arrow though, is he going to do the whole actual thing from Dark Knight Returns, and he's going to have a kryptonite arrow that he's going to fire in Superman's face? You know, that again, that could have totally worked. You could have put that in easily. It'd have been fine.
They didn't.
Nightwing, or Robin. Should we have seen them? I disagree.
I didn't want. Nightwing shouldn't have been in this. Nightwing should be in the solo Batman film, and then possibly lead into the full Justice League film in some form or other. I think we should have seen Robin die. Maybe not necessarily by the Joker's hands, but heavily implied.
Another dream sequence.
Yeah, but all that shit, instead of having the origin story of Batman, we don't need to see that again. And yes, it was done very well, and I'd probably say it was one of my favourite origin flashbacks, because it was done slightly different to most of them.
Yeah, but again though, it doesn't bring anything new.
No, there was no point. It was stupid. Whereas,
so I'm glad that they just threw it in at the start of the film and just said, we'll get it out of the way because we don't want to take up too much time.
Again,
with this.
It was like what, 10, 15 minutes?
No, it wasn't
even
that.
that. To be fair, it was about 5-10 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was just the opening.
But
credits.
if we'd have had that time taken up with, this is why Batman's a fucking literal vigilante.
He could have just been staring at that suit, and then it could have just flashed off, and he could have just been watching Robin being beaten to death by someone that you can't see.
Or even not even that. It's just him carrying Robin's dead body, and then he goes to the Batcave and he's nailing that fucking tire, and he's just fucking dead angry. That you wouldn't even have to say anything. That
would have been brilliant. I would have loved that. But I honestly think that Nightwing should have been a good call on this. Because again though, in a team up, I need him to help me sort of thing. So if they'd have said, I need to stay with Lex, I need to go after Lex, or I need to help them with Doomsday, and Nightwing can go and save Martha, and then Nightwing could have been the one who went in there and just beat the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, that's not even that. Even if it was just fucking, I've got to go to Metropolis, somebody needs to be looking after Gotham.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can you just take care of the kids?
Yeah, I need to pop out. Daddy needs to go fly his plane.
Lastly though, your overall experience, your cinema experience, how was it?
The actual cinema experience was awful. I had to sit next to
Really?
a stupid lady who annoyed me throughout the whole film. However, film-wise, I did enjoy the film. I was annoyed though, because much like with Star Wars, at the IMAX theatre they was doing special cups, and he got a little figure on the top. And I got a BB-8 for Star Wars, and I was like, it's pretty cool, and it's quite detailed, and it's sitting on a shelf with the rest of the toys.
Sure.
They were doing Batman v Superman ones this time. I was like, ooh, I don't even drink fizzy drinks, but you can only have a fizzy drink. I was like,
Yeah, they had like a tin cup or something at the
ours
ODN.
wasn't. Ours is just a normal, like, plastic cup with Batman on it. But it had a
Well,
toy.
do you know what the offer was? Because I went with Rick, and I was tempted to actually record some stuff with Rick yesterday so we could have a chat, and then we put that in as well. But he just had to go, I think. But he was buying some sweets, like the 6-year-old girl that he is, like in a cup. And as I was waiting in the queue while he went to the toilet, because he also has the bladder of a 6-year-old girl, there was this sort of advertisement for the Superman combo deal thing, and it was a large popcorn and a drink with like a tin cup, like a Superman Batman Dawn of Justice cup. Now, whether that's the big one that you get the drink in, or whether it's something separate that you get kind of like as a toy and it's like a half pint glass or something like that, I don't know. No one was buying it. Guess how much that was?
19 quid.
No,
Less, more.
less.
15.
12.
12 quid.
For a drink and popcorn.
I'll be totally honest. I didn't get one in the end because they'd only got Superman. My exact words were, because I said, can I have a large popcorn? Zoe had that Tango Ice Blast shit. Whatever it is.
Can't believe you bought popcorn. How inconsiderate.
I was hungry.
It's the loudest food in the
No,
world,
because-
and you want to eat it in the
No,
quietest
because
place.
I always eat it while the trailer's not on, and I don't have any during the film.
See, I did say to Rick, as long as they're gone, as long as you've eaten all these damn sweets by the time you get to... Unless you're buying marshmallows or something, which is fine. Unless they're all gone by the start of
Just
the
hit
film,
them
I
out,
can't
yeah.
eat anymore.
Plus, I was an hour early, so most of it was gone before the trailers had even started.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
But, and I said I had a large popcorn, Tango Ice Blast. And can I have a Tango in the Batman cup, please? She's like, we haven't got any Batmans. She's like, we've got Superman. No, Superman's lame. I don't want that. Like a fucking child. And she's like, can I get just want a normal Tango? I was like, nope. I don't even drink fizzy drinks. I just wanted the toy. So, bearing in mind, I didn't get a drink. I got a large popcorn and that Tango drink for Zoe. £9.
Outrageous.
Absolutely ridiculous. And that's on top of, I got a Starbucks, I got a coffee from underneath, because there's a Starbucks underneath the cinema. That was like £2 something. Plus buying the tickets.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking money. That is why I
It
don't
is a
go
lot.
to the cinema often. Although I have booked my Civil War tickets today. D-box seats.
Nice.
Excellent, can't wait. Anyway, overall, Ben Affleck, because I know we've gone on long enough, but I want to say Ben Affleck is my favourite Batman. In joint first place with Kevin Porter,
Yeah.
by far. I know a lot of people still like Christian Bale, and you're all wrong, because he's not a good he was a good Batman for that trilogy, but he's not a good Batman, and he was an even worse Bruce Wayne.
It's because he's a good real world Batman.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
he's not a good comic book Batman, because comic book Batman is a grim motherfucker.
Yeah, and hasn't got a lisp, and he can speak, and it's just ace. Christian Bale's not. End of. That's just it. This Batman is, it's like he's just drunk the ink from Frank Miller's pen, and it's just fucking. It was just perfect, and he saved the film completely. No matter what anyone's view is, whether Zoe's giving it a 3 or a 4, whether somebody's giving it a 10, whether someone's giving it a 0, whatever. Ben Affleck just complete. He just changes it completely, and every scene he was in, he stole.
I did actually tweet Ben Affleck yesterday to say, regardless of whatever you hear about the film, like whatever feedback you get about the film, get back about the film, you were amazing.
Yeah.
Like I just feel that I had to just sort of say, look, I'm still conflicted about whether I like the damn thing or not, but what I'm certain on is that you nailed this role, and you are now the best Batman.
Yeah.
And I don't think that can be said enough.
I'd even go as far as saying, I know they're very different, but I think he's probably better than Kevin Conroy.
No, I wouldn't go that far. But Kevin Conroy's been doing. He has been Batman for like 20 years.
I see. I mean, I love Kevin Conroy. I can't say enough praise for Kevin Conroy, but I didn't like Arkham Knight as much as I wanted to. And that's not his fault, obviously, but that's brought him down. And I mean, I still think Kevin Porter's an amazing Batman.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not going to get given the chance to star in a big blockbuster like this.
Not anytime soon.
That we know. I'd love him to, and I think he'd do a fucking outstanding job. However, as it stands, Ben Affleck's the best Batman.
Yeah.
By far.
It's now, I think best sort of invokes an opinion.
Well,
he's the most realistic. He's the most accurate.
Yeah, he's the best portrayal.
He's the closest to the Batman that we've seen so far. Whether you liked it or not is, your own personal opinion, I suppose.
But these people that prefer Christian Bale also think he should be running around in an armoured suit. Batman doesn't need an armoured suit unless he's fighting Superman.
Yeah. But that whole fuck it, we'll talk about it. When he goes to rescue Martha Kent, that is the best scene in the film.
It was. Me and James were speaking about this during the week, and we both came to the conclusion that the scene we saw because we said if the film's shit, at least we've got this scene from the trailer.
Absolutely.
It was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we were saying that we've got a good feeling it's going to be a little bit longer, and it was way longer than I expected. And
it was like 10
fucking
minutes.
loved it. It was so good.
It was. I mean, even the fight when it's Batman versus Superman, and he's got his trap set up. He's got the kryptonite spear. He's got his sonic cannons. He's got auto tracking turrets, which again all sort of are reminiscent to The Dark Knight Returns. And Superman gets nuked as well. That was I can't believe they actually went down the whole sort of. He gets a sort of weird shriveled corpse look.
Looked pretty fucking good.
I was well done for that. I mean, fair enough. You have been pulling from like 4 or 5 different
comics
stories, so that's not so good. But the fact is that you kind of kept true to the weird sort of stuff as well. So I can appreciate that. That was good. But Ben Affleck going into that room with what was it, like 24 guys?
If not more.
And he does what Batman does.
Yeah.
I love the fact that, because obviously he sort of like goes through the floor, goes straight up onto the roof, but whilst he's on the way up, he throws those things that disable everyone's guns. But then someone that he didn't get with one of those is shooting into the hole because he thinks he's still down there. And I was just like, God, you just don't know what he's doing. Brilliant. And then, when he comes down, and he just fucking wipes the floor with everyone. And I mean, this isn't just sort of love tap fighting. He's Daredevil levels of brutal, visceral fighting. Like, he's just punching because he hates you.
And it's like, well, leading up to when that guy's in the room with Martha, and then he just puts his fucking arm through the wall and fucking shags him. It was just it was just super, super cool. And
he's just like, I'll burn her, I swear to God I'll burn her. He's just like, I believe you. And then just shoots the tank.
And then grapples fucking Martha to the floor. It was just perfect. And if it had been 2.5 hours of that, I don't think I'd have left the cinema.
No, I would have been like,
I would have jizzed off in
DC.
everyone's face.
You have crawled it back. You've pulled it back from Marvel. Like, they had everything going for them, and then you pull this kind of shit. and now everyone's just like, holy Christ, now we've got a battle on. Now people, they're going to have to really think to make sure that they make great films, which is kind of what I wanted them to do. I wanted this to be successful, so it would force Marvel to go, shit, okay, we don't want to stagnate. Not that I'm saying that they are at the moment, but we don't want to just keep the same formula. We need something that is a bit darker, which is where I think Civil War is going to kind of seal the deal for them.
The Captain America films have always been a lot darker than the Avengers.
Yeah, but there's still the odd joke. And
Yeah,
still fairly
it's reasonably family friendly.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're talking sort of darkness and Marvel, Daredevil, like that's perfect.
Zoe made a good point of this the other day. She was trying to convince someone to watch Daredevil. Why they needed convincing, I don't know, but that's a different argument. And she was saying basically, DC films are the dark, gritty, like all like Watchmen, Batman, like all of them, they're all dark.
Yeah.
And then you got like stuff like Iron Man and the Avengers and stuff. It's happy, family-friendly shit. And then you've got the TV shows, and you've got Flash and Arrow, which are like the cheesy one-liners, whatnot.
Yeah.
And then you've got Daredevil and fucking Jessica Jones. It's just fucking brutal. And it's like, on TV, it's all fucking Marvel. They're all dark. On the big screen, where the big money is, they're playing it safe.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's what DC should be doing. I just think they need to be smarter with what they're doing. This was their chance to go, you don't need to be funny. Just make it good. And I'd say they were halfway there, because it was primarily a Batman film, and every bit with Batman was fucking fine, and I loved it.
Yeah.
It was just the rest of the film, and that's what killed it.
I do agree. I think it goes. I mean, again, we could go on about this for a while, and I know I wanted to say the sort of the Batman stuff till last, but for one, I'm pretty exhausted. Yeah. And two, all I can say is go and see it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm hoping that you already have, because you've watched this, and all you can say is, whenever Batman was in it, it was fucking brilliant.
Don't
like that fighting. My fucking word, that was
don't
amazing.
don't listen to us, to be honest. Just go and see it. But all the really negative reviews, the reviews that are negative for the right reasons, they're probably correct.
Yeah.
But
if they're specific, if they call into question and say, well, this doesn't make any sense, and they've done too much with this, and this person's not well developed, like, there are a person's opinions. So you could very well form your own opinions, but at least you know that that person is educated on the subject, or at least has taken it upon themselves to self-educate themselves. And they said, well, because of this, I've gone and read every Batman and Superman comic I could get my hands on, and I'm absolutely positive that no Batman would go around killing people, because he fucking murders people in this. My lord, he murders people.
He does in the comics, though. He's not primarily, I won't kill anyone. Because he does, and he has, and so is Superman, and so is Wonder Woman, and so is Death. They all have.
I know, but Wonder Woman's like a warrior, so
it's just in her blood.
It goes without question that she is just going to kill people, whether it comes down to it or not. But Superman does, and again, it's whether it's directly or indirectly, and whether it's out of malice or not. But with Batman, I think again, because though it's the sort of the Christian Bale Batman that people are thinking of. He says, I've got one rule, I don't have to kill you, but I also don't have to save you, which means that, well, basically you are sentencing that person to death, so, okay. But in this, he's flipping cars and then using that car as a weapon to hit someone else in another car. That
bit was so fucking awesome. When he smashes into the car with the Batmobile, and you're like, they're fucking dead. And they wasn't. And then he just grapples the car and takes it with him.
Yeah, he's just swinging it round, and then he just flips it and he just smacks on another car. But like everything, like it's just sort of usually, it's sort of like non-lethal, and it's all smoke and misdirection and all that sort of stuff. And then he flies in the Batwing, which has got 2 miniguns on the front, which spin round. So that's like 12,000 bullets a minute that are getting fired out the front of this thing with rockets
as well.
Rubber
bullets.
They are not fucking rubber bullets. Like those guys in those fucking jeeps that are shooting up, they get torn in fucking half. They are super dead. There is no way you can talk people out of that. So I mean, usually like in a Batman film, whenever someone gets killed by Batman, it's comedy or it's
off screen
for effect. Yeah. They'll get blown up by something he's done. Whereas this, he's He stabs a guy, full on
He
stabs
shoots
a guy.
people.
He nails people with batarangs and stuff. And but I mean, these people are also trying to kill him. One guy puts a bullet in the back of his head, and then he just turns around and just breaks his fucking arms, and then his mate, he just punches him so hard his head goes through the fucking floor. But that's the thing, you can't wipe that away as just being, oh, they'll be okay, they just hurt. It's just like, nope, they're all dead. They were super
That's
dead.
what made it awesome.
Absolutely, and this is absolutely the right way to do it. It's just that, again, the only problem I have with it is that they haven't explained as to why this Batman is okay.
It's again, we're going to wrap it up pretty soon, but it's going back to what Zoe said earlier when she was here, is that all they had to do was explain, this is why he's just gone, fuck it. That's all they had to do. And then literally, because that's probably the one flaw I've got with the Batman arc of Batman v Superman, is there's no we know why. Not to a degree, obviously we don't
know, but we can make it an educated speculation as to, probably something has happened, more than likely Robin, as to why he's keeping that sort of monument to him in his Batcave. But for Joe Public, who they just know Batman and they know Superman and they know this is supposed to be a good film, they won't know the ins and outs. They won't know the Red Hood story and death in the family and all that sort of stuff, the Killing Joke. That won't make any sense.
A lot of them won't even know that was Robin's costume.
Exactly, it'll just be, maybe they thought, it's just an old back suit.
Why's he got a staff? Why's he got a big stick?
Yeah.
However, your final score, Dan, out of 10.
Oh well, we're
not there yet. Oh wow.
No, we're not there yet. Strap yourself in, boy.
Well done. Yeah, I'm strapped in.
Okay, right. So, previous episodes, podcasts, or special edition episodes, or whatever. We've talked about this. There's more than I've looked on, but frankly, I got bored listening. Mainly for the fact that we're useless, and mainly for the fact that we talked about fucking Batman and Superman for so many
3 years
podcasts over the last 3 years. It's not worth it anymore. So I went back to the first couple that we did, just so we could go back as far as we could without knowing, through leaks and stuff, just to see if we could get a rough idea as to whether we were on the right lines or not. So, episode 5, Batflick, recorded on the 31st of August 2013.
Wow.
This is just after the announcement that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman. So I said Ben Affleck would need to become super buff and really broody in order to be able to pull it off. And that I was going into the film, my expectation was underhyped in order to appreciate it more if it was good. So one, he became a fucking
He's
monster.
a fucking tank.
Honestly, when he's in that fucking cell with Lex Luthor at the end, he just fills that fucking doorway. I was just like, this guy is enormous, what the fuck? And then he just like punches that branding brass knuckle thing
into the wall.
Just straight into the wall. Oh, fuck, incredible. That was amazing. So he did that, and he was angry and snarky and brilliant. Love it. You said this is exactly how it's going to go down, and then you called the date and the time as well.
Oh.
So you said this is exactly how it's going to go down. Man of Steel 2 comes out. Batman's going to be the anti-hero. Superman's going to try and stop him, and in the second half of the film, they'll team up to take down Lex Luthor.
Nearly.
You were kind of almost there. Yeah.
Man.
But this is when we thought that Lex Luthor was still going to be a threat in some kind of sense.
Not just a candy shop villain.
Oh god, he's stupid. Why would you make a massive fucking demon thing that would immediately try and kill you? If Superman hadn't been there, he'd have just been killed straight away. Fucking idiot. So then I said the first things we'll start to see that will get us interested will be when we see Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, then as Batman, and then posters with Batman and Superman squaring off with each other. And like the tweets that we saw, like the Batmobile and then Batman and stuff. So again, we were kind of on the right lines, but that's how they were going to get hype up. And you said, and I quote, Ben Affleck is not going to be as good as Bale, but not as bad as Clooney.
Ooh.
And that was a direct quote.
Hell, I don't remember that in the slightest.
Yep, it's there, episode 5. You can go back and listen to it.
Oh, that's like the first one.
That's the first one we talked about. Like the first episode was Man of Steel. This is the first one we're talking about, Man of Steel 2. But so you said your exact words were, he's not going to be as good as Christian Bale, but he's not going to be bad as George Clooney.
I know for a fact that that's soon changed.
Absolutely. And I think anyone, any
my
illusions that I
quote's
had.
changed.
Yeah, I know.
Just want to get that out there.
Episode 10, 15th of December 2013. I don't think it was recorded on the 15th. I think we just uploaded it on YouTube on the 15th. So at the time, at the point in time we were recording, Doomsday was rumoured to be in the film. And we did discuss that Doomsday would be a great character, a great villain character for a Justice League film, not a solo film.
Yeah.
And I think now that we've seen it, we're quite right in saying it shouldn't have been in there. And also Jason Momoa was rumoured to be cast, but we weren't sure on the role. We thought Martian Manhunter would make more sense. But given the fact that there's almost no point in having him in it at all,
really matter.
It could have gone either way. So then I said, again, I'm paraphrasing a lot of this, so it's mostly out of context, but I just sort of picked out bits and pieces. So I said it would make more sense for them to have them go up against each other and then join together to take on Lex Luthor, sort of mirroring what you said in the first time. And you said, if the film is shit, it could then very well taint Ben Affleck's Batman career. So, in the sense of, it will taint him as a whole, because the film was not very good. And unfortunately, I think you might be right.
I don't, because a lot of people have basically said the film's shit, but Affleck's amazing.
Yeah, but it's still
murky.
Under the same umbrella, though.
Murky.
Yeah, it's still Batman, it's still Justice League, it's still Warner Brothers, it's still all of this. So although his performance was amazing, the rest of the film does still bring him down. So that's kind of annoying. But again, you were kind of right on it. And then the main one that we did was the sort of the last Dawn of Justice trailer. We did a trailer breakdown that was uploaded on the 15th of July last year, so not too long ago. Bruce is on the phone to someone that he clearly cared about in Wayne Tower. We speculated that it could be someone like Dick Grayson, it could be Alfred, it could be someone, maybe even a family member or something like that hasn't been disclosed as of yet. Turns out it's just like
a worker.
It's just a colleague. So whoever's running that part of the business, I assume, was in the building, who was killed. The little girl that Batman runs under some fucking concrete to save. We thought initially it could be Cary Grant, maybe just sort of like a little nod or something. Kelly Grant, yeah. Why Cary Kelly? I think it's because you said Cary Grant and then I corrected you, so I've written down the wrong thing that you said. Fuck. Okay, well, Cary Kelly, that's what I meant to say. I'm just reading as I'm going here, so I'm not thinking. But you said it was more likely it's just some random girl who he just saved, and absolutely right, that's exactly what he did. We thought about the guy walking towards an old burnt down house. We thought maybe it could be Oliver Queen. We doubted it, but then we also thought it could be Thomas Wayne in some kind of flashback scene. Although we did call it being Wayne Manor as actually being the house, because obviously he doesn't live in Wayne Manor anymore, so he's just left it burnt down. Let Your Family Die, the letter that's received with the newspaper cutout of the Wayne Tower being blown up in the Metropolis incident. Now, we discussed the option as to whether it could be a member of the Bat family, so it could be Barbara or Dick or Jason, maybe even Alfred. But then I said that it could be a disgruntled employee. So, although you liked the idea, we thought it would be more likely that it was the Joker. But only if the Joker would know who Batman was. So that was surely on the basis. But you seemed fairly happy with the fact that it was a disgruntled employee from Wayne Enterprises. So we were pretty good on that one. Well, he was pissed off. And then for some reason Lex Luthor was returning his fucking mail to... Oh God, I don't know, I don't care. It doesn't make any sense. Next, the branded guy, the guy that was tied up to a radiator, that was we speculated a lot around that as to, is he being set up or whatever. So, and I said, and I quote, this could be a brand that Batman uses on serious criminals to expose them. And that is exactly what it was. It's because someone like the DA or someone is talking about when these brands, they don't survive long in prison. So he's branding them because he knows that people will finish them off in prison. So quite glad they went with that. It's pretty good. And we also discussed the fact that I think you thought it was more likely that it was being used to set up Batman, because we were talking about the whole Batman symbol with the Superman symbol kind of triangle thing in the middle. We weren't too sure as to how that kind of played into it. Again, it wasn't really explained, so whatever. We thought that Clark was writing about Batman for the Daily Planet, and whatever his opinion of Batman and what he's doing is, Perry White was trying to keep him away from the story.
Yeah.
So either saying don't get involved, or just saying it's not important. So
that's exactly what happened.
Exactly. Superman saving people on the Day of the Dead festival was just saving people randomly. And then I said I think it was the Day of the Dead festival that he was in when they were all sort of trying to touch him.
God.
And he'd either just saved someone or they were asking him to save someone. So he just saved someone from a burning building and then dropped them in the middle of the... Well, didn't drop them. He placed them in the middle of all the people at the festival. But that was a sort of a montage of him flying around and just doing what he does.
People.
Just saving people, yeah. I was still convinced at this point, absolutely convinced, that Lex's hair was a wig. And I'm really annoyed that it wasn't. Really, really annoyed.
But they did shave it. That's one thing.
Stupid.
Still stupid.
Yeah, it should have just been the whole thing.
Yeah.
Really annoyed me that. When Superman was on his knees in front of Lex, we thought that he'd found some kind of weakness or was threatening someone, which is why he was bowing to him. That was absolutely right. He got Martha. We obviously didn't call the fact that it was Martha.
And he wasn't
but
bowing, but...
No, but he was certainly
on his knees.
in a position of vulnerability. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't bowing though, was he?
No. He was clearly on the back foot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we were fairly close to that. We weren't sure if it was Zod in the box that the military brought into Lex was, because we thought it could have been Kryptonite, but we thought it was more likely to be Zod. But why would the military have his body instead of Clark? Didn't make any sense.
But it was.
It was, but again, it doesn't make any sense as to why they had it and Superman didn't take care of it. Odd, but there we go. The memorial to Jason Todd's Robin. We weren't still sure as to its relevance or as to whether it would be referred back to. And you said, I don't think that the Joker's message on Robin's suit and the newspaper letter were related. So they weren't, so well done for that. But again, that suit was there and they could have just done something with it, and they didn't. I don't know if it was ever going to be referred to again, but that really annoyed me. And it will continually annoy me until Robin is back in it or mentioned. No one said his name. Alfred didn't mention it. Nothing.
Nada.
Yeah. So Superman's soldiers, at this point we weren't sure as to whether they were some kind of extremists. So did he arrive in that tunnel, like when he flies into the bottom of the tunnel, in order to help them or to stop them? Because we weren't sure if these soldiers were acting on behalf of Lex Luthor, trying to frame Superman and set up Batman so they'd eventually take each other out. Obviously, we weren't sure. We knew there were flying things in it, so we sort of thought about parademons and Darkseid, but we thought that this was a part of the film rather than just some kind of flashback.
Well, flash forward.
So, well, flash whatever.
The Flash.
Speed Force. Yeah. Hopefully the flashback to Bruce's parents lasted as long as they were shown in the trailer. Hopefully, I think they were pretty much right on that. Yeah, they certainly weren't long, but it was just sort of
enough.
Like, they were killed, he was okay, he's now Batman, next. So that was fine. We talked about the fact that because we see Kryptonite with Lex Luthor, we thought, we're again talking about whether the Kryptonite had actually come out of the Phantom Zone with Zod's ship. So when they activated the Phantom Drive, was it somehow pulled through when they were travelling around? Had Lex recovered Kryptonite from the World Engine? So again, that looks like it was what happened. So I think we kind of got that roughly. And they were performing. Sorry, when they got the Kryptonite, they would then perform tests on Zod's body to identify the effects. He then learns that this is a weakness to Kryptonians, and that is exactly what happens. They get the Kryptonite, they figure out on Zod that it will fuck them up, and it's just like, brilliant, we'll weaponize it, guys. And they're just like, no, that sounds like a really stupid idea. It was either that, or they somehow reverse engineered Kryptonite from studying Zod's body and figuring out what was a weakness, and then reverse engineered something out of it. And then in terms of just sort of general comments, I said that this could be the first time we see Batman's gadgets used in combat. We totally do. We see Batarangs used quite often. The grappling hook, as well as weapon disruptors, used all in that massive scene, and they were incredibly complimentary.
Very well done. Very well done.
Really, really well done. We also thought that because of the first when the Batmobile kind of crashed into a building and Superman rips the doors off, we thought that this could actually be the first time that they see each other face to face, which I think is.
As I was going to say,
Superman
as a Cape Crusader with the boy Wonder, then yes. Well, Man of Steel even.
He could be
could
Boy
be.
Wonder. You don't know.
We just don't know with this crazy film.
I know, yeah. I said it is clearly going to be a Batman film, but it does have the potential to be a good Batman film.
Yeah,
It had the potential to be a good Batman
It was
film.
a good Batman film.
Yeah. But I also said, if it flops and it's just a bad film, I think we're talking about Marvel and DC at this point. If it flops and it's just a bad film, they've lost. And I think with Civil War coming out, I don't think they're going to... No, I think in terms of which is going to be the better film, I don't think Civil War has got much to worry about.
I'll be totally honest, I don't think Civil War is going to be better than Batman. It's going to be better than Batman v Superman. But I don't think it's going to be as... We're not going to be as fucking nurtures and everywhere as much with Civil War.
Well, there's not going to be... It's Spider-Man, that's going to be nurtures.
And Spider-Man's nowhere near as
what
cool
they're going
as
to do with
Batman.
Spider-Man. Yeah, but if we see a good Spider-Man, he could become as cool as Batman.
It's not going to be as good as Affleck's Batman. But it's going to be a better film.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's too much of a problem with that. To which you kind of replied with, they aren't going to catch up with Marvel anytime soon, but this is their best chance if it works. So again, I think the fact that we're right. I just don't think that after this, because it's made a lot of money, but it's not been well received. They're not going to. I think people aren't going to be expecting too much from a Justice League film. And then you also said that the main focus would be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, Flash, and Aquaman will be cameos.
Boom.
Which, yeah, pretty much spot on, because that's all they were. And at this point, I still don't think they should have been. But that was it. That was pretty much everything we discussed that was pretty close, and we were pretty close on a lot of stuff. Obviously, you mentioned the fact that I said about Batman out using the kryptonite grenade that blew the kryptonite dust into Superman's face. So I didn't bother putting that in because I knew you'd mention
You should put our Affleck quotes in.
Affleck?
Yeah,
quotes.
we did say he would, if he pulls it off, he'll be the best Batman. On numerous ones.
But to be fair though, I think I'm pretty sure we would cover that at some point during the podcast anyway, and we did.
I suppose. That's it then. That's it.
That's all I need food.
BvS'd out. If you haven't seen it, go and see it, because you might really fucking love it. You might hate it.
There's a lot of stuff. I didn't really want to talk too much about the negatives. I wanted to talk about the positives. Doomsday, I don't think looked very good up until the point he started evolving. Then he started looking like Doomsday, and I was like, oh thank God! And then they killed him, so that really annoyed me. The fact that Batman only had 3 kryptonite grenades was stupid. He should have had way more than that. But again, if they'd just said this, I've only got enough kryptonite to make 3.
Plus he made the staff.
Yeah, but he lasered off like half the kryptonite to sharpen it up. Stupid. The death of Superman, not fun. Not really. It's so stupid to kill him off at this point. No, they should have had Doomsday. It should have just been Lex Luthor, an actual Lex Luthor, being a genuine threat and trying to set them all up and get people hating them, and then they had to take him down. That's how it should have been. That should have been setting up all 3 of them with cameos for the Aquaman and Cyborg and everyone.
Proper cameos.
And then have just references.
You know what? You know when we should have saw Aquaman? When they were getting the fucking kryptonite out of the ocean.
Well, that's when I think we did actually touch on that. The fact that because there's a scene in the trailer where there's that lad going, sort of following the anchor down under the water, and we thought, is this something to do with Aquaman? And it's just like, nope, it was just after some kryptonite. And yet somehow, even though it was in some weird rock thing, He smacked it with a hammer, and he knew kryptonite was inside it. No explanation.
Just done.
None needed.
Anyway, we've talked far too long. It's been like 2 hours. So, Dan,
Yes.
what's coming up on the channel?
We're going to be doing a similar podcast to this. I imagine it might actually be longer.
It may be
But we're
split
gonna be
into
doing-
parts.
Yeah, it could very well be, yeah. But we're going to be doing a Daredevil Season 2 kind of review and look over, and look back on. Mainly for the fact that it's brilliant, and there's a lot of stuff we need to talk about in it, and I really want to talk about that, to be honest. So that one's going to be a good one, so I'm going to be doing that. I've got a Rocket League video that before my computer died, I was in the middle of editing, so I'm going to try and finish that over the next couple of days, so keep an eye out for that.
I believe that's it that we've got planned. But we should be doing more stuff in the week.
Yeah, I did get the Division with my new card though, so I may do some Dark Zone missions in the thing. But Rick is going to be picking it up next week, so I might do some stuff with Rick. Hopefully that'll inspire you to actually get it yourself.
Possibly. Maybe.
You should do. It's really
I'm
good.
still funding my Batmobile. So, with that said, if you would like to check out our other stuff, you can go to the website, which is www.podcastversusplay.com or .co.uk. It's the same website. Doesn't matter. Type whatever you want. You can head over to the YouTube channel, which is
youtube.com/podcast VS Player.
you can go over on Twitter and talk to us and say things. And our Twitter is podcastvplayer. And it's the same thing for Instagram. So,
Yeah. Or you can just drop us an email directly to playerthepodcast@gmail.com. And then that's about
we're
it.
not anywhere else. We're not as cool as the other kids.
Yeah. I'd give you my number, but I don't know you.
I'll just come to me. I'll give it you. Final thoughts. No, a number. Sorry. Before we go, nothing else. Just 1 to 10. Batman v Superman done justice.
I'd say a very generous 7.
I was umming and ahhing between 6 and 7, but I'm gonna go with 7.
Yeah, I'm just basing this off how impressed I am with
Affleck, yeah.
Batman.
It had potential.
It is, and it should have been the Batman film. And I'm really gutted that it wasn't, because if they'd have done it, I would have been so excited for Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I was excited for this, but I was excited for it, but I knew it wasn't going to be very good.
We're excited for Affleck.
And exactly, that was the whole thing going in. It's just going to be, there's a new Batman, how's he going to fare? And he was fucking
It's from
banging.
one of my favourite fucking Batman stories. Based on.
Oh, right, yeah.
And in all credit to Affleck, shit the fucking bed. He was good. He was faithful.
Yeah.
He looked the part. He was just good. Anyway, I'm going.
That's it.
Fuck it.
I'm done.
Oh.
Yep.
So yeah, go and do stuff. See you later.